Thank you. I feel like a Stone Age is here. Memory lane. Gosh, I need a clicker. So today I'm going to talk about, I thought that the morning talks have been brilliant to kind of set the stage, and hopefully I'll kind of change and just talk about what it's like to be a retailer and trying to revolutionize through technology and transform the retail industry and how IoT can play a role. Let's see if I get this right. So, as was mentioned, I work at this company called Tesco. Some of you might know that it's a global retailer, and our core purpose is to serve our shoppers a little bit better every day. So what does that really mean? Because as a technologist, we want to revolutionize and we want to create value for our customers. We want to delight our customers. And delighting our customers means that we have to solve a number of key problems. Intimacy, how do we create value? They want to be taken care of. They want to remove friction from shopping. They want to delight them means that we have to serve them when they want to be served, how they want to be served. So how do we do that? And how can IoT help? Well, in all revolutions in the UK, you got to stay calm. Now, one might say, well, look, you're from the West Coast, you're an American, coming across, and a lot of the companies I've been at have been product companies. And the answer here is not to be a technology company. You don't have to be a technology company to join the revolution. In fact, I would argue that most companies have taken and embedded technology as the core of what they do. I think that's the key. So that whether it's for machine intelligence to drive value, for decision making, or automation and AI to drive inefficiencies in your supply chain, or IoT to manage a new generation of interactions and business propositions. All of that is part of this revolution. Tesco has been innovating for a number of years for our customers. And just here's some simple examples of them. Club Card, we were the first supermarket to have a loyalty scheme. And you can imagine the value of having data of a large part of the UK population and a global population. So over 40 million customers active today. First to have clothing in a retail store, shopping. And finally, the first to have online grocery. It's over a significant percentage of the UK grocery sector. Now, the reason I mention this is because innovation at Tesco is not something new. We've been doing it for a number of years. But like all things, there's a disruption happening. Technology is disrupting retail. IoT is causing a disruption in retail. And what I want to talk to you today about is some of the trends that we see, and then what is Tesco doing about them, and finally, how do we create a culture so that we can actually not just innovate singularly inside of Tesco or within Tesco, but rather reach out to a larger ecosystem to create value and innovate together. So hopefully answer some of the questions and provide a bit of examples from what you've seen today, this morning already. Internet of Things. It's funny, it's one of the 6 things that I want to talk to you about, because oh my gosh, it's the whole focus of this conference. Although I would argue, central to much of what we've done in the industry and retail has largely been Internet of Things. The world is not that different. But clearly, Internet of Things was well described this morning, and it is one key element of our future. But I would argue that just sensing our environment, if you imagine the days in e-commerce sites that were mentioned before, when I was at Disney, when I was at Real Networks, when I was at Expedia, for over 25 years, because of the internet, we've been able to go and measure, interact with customers, gain insights, and reflect back propositions and intimacy. Well, how do we do that in a retail space? How do we take the clicks metaphor that has been well served in the pure play industry and create the same kind of equivalence in a physical space where you actually have a blurring between physical and digital? And so I think that the ability to leverage data, machine learning algorithms, the ability to go and take that and derive value, because if you can just sense but you can't act, if you can't reason, there's really little value to just have 1 trillion devices that give you a signal and not be able to do anything with that data. So at Tesco, we're trying to make sure that when we think about these problems, there's some value we're creating. There's customer value we're creating. We're serving our customers a little bit better every day. Clearly, I think that commerce is transforming into a conversational experience. So here's some examples. Alexa from Amazon, Cortana, there's a number of them there. For any of you that have devices, if you have Amazon Video, for example, imagine watching with Amazon Fire versus just Amazon Video that's included in your smart TV. The fact that speech is taking now a central role. It's so much easier to go find what you want to watch, interacting through speech, than it is still typing in a search bar. So I think that this conversational paradigm is going to change and disrupt retail. Autonomous delivery. So drones and so on and so forth. I would argue that there's four different areas of drone, from the first being the most simplest, where it's human-driven, to operators, forgive me, and to the fourth level, which is fully autonomous, and of course level 3 is probably the scariest one, where a human still has to be around just in case. So it's coming. It's not here yet. It will disrupt, but there is disruption on the way. Peer-to-peer has been around. I was at Real Networks and file sharing and media sharing 20 years ago to disrupt entertainment. And what you've seen then with Airbnb disrupting the hotel industry, Uber disrupting the transportation industry, there's disruption happening, and peer-to-peer models are actually much richer than that. And there's a network dimension to peer-to-peer that I think is still to be seen. And there's examples of it in grocery where there are people not just file sharing in the entertainment days, but they're sharing grocery purchases. They're sharing food. So there's networks forming. I said that trend is quite, it's still early days. And finally, there's a sense of immediacy. I know that our customers and all of you are now expecting immediate gratification. When you pick up your smartphone, you want it, you want to order it, you want to interact with it, you want to discover it, you want to purchase it, you want it delivered wherever you are. I want to order something and I want it delivered at the hotel right here in Dublin. That's the future. The future is now. It is happening now. So how do we set ourselves up, once again, to serve our customers? So what are we doing at Tesco? Well, look, the customer is at the center. As the gentleman before me spoke, the patient is at the center. And what we want to do is make sure that we innovate and create value for our customers, and make sure that we do it in an agile way. So one of the transformations underway at Tesco is that we want to think of ourselves as a product company a bit. Do whatever we do as a product. Leverage agile product development methodologies so that when we think about designing something, we're not going to just, as IT or technologists, just assume we have it right, but rather experiment and learn. So one of the things that we do in this space, putting the customer at the center, is we developed an API platform. So for those interested, you can go to Tesco, to the URL there, devportal.tescolabs.com. And what we're trying to do is just innovate with our partners. We want to innovate and create value. And we're exposing more and more of our APIs so that we can have many, many people participate in this revolution with us. Well, let me just give you a few examples. Underpinning, once again, is the customer API platform. But what have we done with it? Well, okay, here it comes. Some crazy person talking about a connected fridge. It's not here yet. Clearly, buying fridges is not something you do on a daily basis. It's typically a decade purchase. And there's many, many examples that have been tried here to figure out whether it's sensing the TV, the refrigerator, is it working, is it on, to egg containers, giving you a sensor of when your eggs are running out. It's early days. But what I want to talk about here is this young lady. So we've been experimenting, at the beginning of the year we did experimentations with about 10 families and gave them a bunch of connected devices, scanners, clickers, buttons of all types, to just understand what is that intimacy that one could have with a customer at home. Because we want to have an intimate connection with our customers wherever they might be, and not just assume they're either online or in a store. And so this trial was to try to get an idea of what patterns, what behaviors are different about a customer. In this case, a young customer. I know when my kids at home have tried this, it's amazing what they add to our shopping basket. So that device is just hanging around the kitchen, and I am never surprised by, oh, okay, and I've now sensed which part of the family member did that click because of the buying habits. And they know when the shop is happening, so they just make sure they click before. So, but it's a brilliant example of trying to understand how does that help our shopping journeys. Another one is, in partnership with If This Then That, we started saying, well, if we had APIs and we exposed to the public when a price change, as one example, if we're searching for an item, can we allow customers out there to create their own applications? And in this case, use the If Then That platform. Here's some examples from Angela. So, add milk on Thursdays. You go to the platform, you register, you build this app, here's a rule, and on Thursday, it will add milk to your shopping basket. And of course, Angela's favorite is coming up, which is not listed here, is Prosecco. Whenever it gets warm to a certain temperature, she'll add Prosecco. Or when Prosecco gets on sale, Tesco's finest, I know Angela's there with her If Then that platform API call. She's going to go add Prosecco to her shopping basket. Now, this was a Retail Week award. So we were pleased to get to receive the Innovation of the Year award. But the point is that we wanted to do this in partnership. This was not a Tesco created thing. We just wanted to enable innovation. And here's a simple example of that. Here's my favorite example. It's probably a bit of the most simple. It's our broccoli cam. So in retail, I know, this is an IoT device from the old days. And so the broccoli cam was our attempt to figure out when customers want to shop at Tesco, the last thing they want is to be disappointed when they show up to an aisle edge and not have broccoli or fresh veg. And so an early example of this was to put cameras, the old IoT devices in the Stone Ages, put them up there into the ceilings and measure to see when a certain box ran out of veg. And we did this after about 5 million or so images. We got a good sense of when replenishment was needed there. And then we took this lesson and we said, look, we can do a much better job of understanding when we have to refill the broccoli. But here's an example of a simple feedback loop, taking camera shots, still images, computer vision, some data algorithms, and then connected to our supply chain. Another one is this IoT device called Scan As You Shop, to allow it to remove friction of having our customers stay in line to check out. Well, of course, the next generation of that is this thing called your mobile phone. After all, it knows who you are. You have a payment relationship. You have your club card loyalty information. We know everything about you. Why not just scan and just walk out the door? And we're trialing that in Central Europe. Now, once again, as I mentioned, it's great to sense. It's great to have this information. But if you can't create value, it's just data. And in fact, I hate data lakes. When people say big data and Hadoop and all these buzzwords, who cares? What I care about is events. I care about knowing what needs to happen next. What information is there so that our entire enterprise has access to it? That's the key. It's not just an application that happens to be managing the sensors for the refrigeration systems in the store to say, you know what, refrigerator 38 needs to be replaced. Cooling just dropped, or is rising, temperature's rising. So how do we create an environment where every piece of information that is knowable is captured in near real time and streamed so that it can be acted upon? So that's what we're building. And our first generation is coming up end of this year. And what we're trying to do is fuse everything that we know about sensing from our customers, real-time sales data, and a couple of examples from our supply chain so that we can get early examples of how we might take this data and create value and do that in an iterative and agile way. Now, one of the things we're doing here is we're trying to figure out how to initiate an open source effort around this problem, because we want to create what we are calling MuBase, which is the open source project that we just created, to say, hey, come and collaborate with us. MuBase is essentially an open source project that says we want to create an ability to have an event engine, a streaming event engine, be embeddable in your service, in your API, or in your application, so you can participate in events and reason about them. So if you're interested, Angela here from the labs, leader of our labs, is here, and we'd like to have some fun together. Now, as was mentioned earlier, it could be very simple to say this is just an IT problem, so go off and do your IT stuff. It really comes down to people. And what we're trying to do is create a culture, an inclusive culture, so that we have our people being able to innovate, to be able to create. And here's an example of our hackathon that we just did. And once again, as was mentioned earlier, it's amazing that the majority of the folks that participated in our hackathon were not technologists. There were colleagues from our stores, from our distribution centers.
Really good fun. Lots of learning going on, lots of coding, lots of hacking.
That's great. Yeah, it's really good to have an opportunity to just learn lots of stuff that I don't normally get to do for a day job.
I've never done this before, but today I've learned quite a lot. I'm part of Tesco now, I've never experienced before.
It's been good learning new things, because neither Emma or I had done Python before.
It's been really good. It's been enjoyable. Everyone's really friendly.
Something I've never done before. Great, this is the best trip ever. I'm going to be democratising distribution shopping across the world. I've lost 2 development environments so far, so kind of feeling better slightly.
So there's an example of just trying to engage our entire colleague base. There's over 400,000 colleagues in the UK and about 500,000 globally. We want everyone to innovate and create with an API platform, access to data. We can create magic together. And in that spirit, we also want to create magic with startups, communities, and industry. And so T-Jam is a Tesco Jam where we do speed dating in St. Catherine Docks with a number of the local startups in the London area, just to learn and see whether we can, as Tesco, provide a little bit of guidance and learn from the industry of what we can try together. And if we believe with an open API platform, clarity with security and privacy of our customers at core, we can create and delight our customers. With that, I want to thank you for your time and have a great day.
Hi, my name is Yuan. I'm a wireless engineer. So my question is, as a retail company, how you organize or manage your team, your company to do IoT development? For example, the project you just showed us about robots take lots of hardware or wireless technology involved. You have a dedicated team to do it, or you rely on a third-party company to do it for you? Thank you.
So the quick answer there. So we've done a number of IoT examples. So the robotics example was a company called Bossa Nova Robotics based in the US. We did that in collaboration with our labs team. So everything we do is in collaboration. Sometimes we develop it ourselves. There's a number of IoT examples of trying to sense floor pattern traffics and the such. There's a ton of examples we didn't want to put in there. But the majority of the cases that we do it ourselves and with partners as opposed to outsourcing it. And so we just think there's a bright future ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much.